Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind, and welcome to Khan Global Studies. I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good evening. Okay, so first of all, welcome everyone to the session. And in our daily current affairs session today, the topics which we are going to discuss, let us have a look at this. The topics which we are going to discuss today, the first topic is with respect to the VBG Ramji Act. Okay, like we have seen the basic provisions of it, but today we are going to evaluate it, that what are the positives and what are the challenges with respect to this VBG Ramji Act. So that is one part which we will discuss. Second thing which we are going to talk about is China versus the OPEC plus. This is a very interesting news. We will come to this part, very interesting news article, and we will see from exam point of view also that what is important. The news is also quite interesting, and at the same time, from the examination perspective also, OPEC is one important country. Then we have the Aravalli. This is one issue which we are going to talk about today. And finally, we have a news about the LVM2, LVM3, M6. Today in the morning at around 9 o'clock, there was a launch, a successful launch of a very heavy satellite in the low Earth orbit. The satellite was not Indian, it was a US based company satellite, a satellite of US based company. It was launched in the low Earth orbit, and the weight of the satellite was 6100 kg. So we are going to talk about this one launch also, and then we will discuss about some of the portions of the prelims special articles. Sir, have you stopped the current affair class that used to teach on Saturdays for the Foundation 2026 batch? Jigger boss, See, we are just planning to have a compilation of all those things, and very soon in the month of January itself, for the prelims specific, we will cover all these things together. So you will be getting that on your app itself. So entire current affairs will be done, but on the app itself it will be done, and very soon we will be announcing it. Okay, so the entire current affairs of last 1.5 year, we will be doing it on the app itself. Okay, so now let's start the first. Let's start first with some questions here. The first question is this: which of the following statements are correct with respect to Ramsar sites in India? First one is, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change acts as the nodal body to propose the names of prospective Ramsar sites. Second thing is, once a site is declared as Ramsar sites, its management becomes the responsibility of the union government. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change acts as the nodal body to propose the names of prospective Ramsar sites. Second thing is, once a site is declared as a Ramsar site, its management becomes the responsibility of union government. So this is question number 1. So tell me, what should be the correct answer for this question? What should be the correct answer for this one question? Okay, one answer is option number C by Deepak. C option is both 1 and 2. Anyone else? What should be the correct answer for this question with respect to Ramsar sites? Last day in the prelims special article in our current affairs session, we have discussed about it. C option. Now, if we look at this one question, Ministry of Environment Forest acts as the nodal body to propose the name of prospective Ramsar sites. This one part is correct. But the second part which is saying that once a site is declared as Ramsar sites, its management becomes the responsibility of union government. This one is incorrect. It is under the management of the state government, not the union government. So there is no such automatic transfer of the duty to the union government. It remains with the state government also. So the correct answer will be option number A. The orbital debris are considered as a major threat to the space missions. Second is saying orbital debris have been formed from the defunct satellites and launch vehicles. So here we have the second question. Here we are having the second question about the orbital debris. Good evening, Anshika. So orbital debris are considered as a major threat to space missions. Orbital debris have been formed from the defunct satellites and launch vehicles. So what should be the correct answer? Where are people today? No answer. C option, B option. Now, if you look at this one question, just to give you one context, the orbital debris are considered as a major threat to space missions. This one part is correct. It has been formed from the defunct satellite and launch vehicle. That second part is also correct. Now the thing is, both statements are correct. So C and D will not be the answer. Now tell me, the orbital debris are considered as a major threat. So you should be asking this one question, why? Why they are considered as a major threat? Your comment is visible now, Disha, but earlier it was perhaps not visible. Sometimes YouTube may be having some issues. Okay. So what we see here, that why this is not visible, sorry, why this is not why this is the problem, why it is considered as a major threat, why it is considered as a major threat. So it is considered as major threat because the orbital debris, they have got high velocity, they have got very high velocity, they can have collision, and cause destruction. They can have collision and cause destruction. So that's why they are considered as threat. But the second statement is saying that how they have been formed. How they have been formed. So that's why both statements are correct, but the statement 2 is not explaining the statement 1. Hence the answer will be option number B. International Big Cat Alliance has been launched to protect 4 big cats across the world. 97 big cats range countries are members of the IBCA, International Big Cat Alliance. So what should be the correct answer here? ऑर्बिटल डेब्रीज नेचुरल मेटेरॉइड से भी ना बनता है. देखो लास्ट डे इफ यू हैव paid attention to this, we have seen there are two type of debris. One is the natural debris, the micrometeoroids, whereas we have the second type of debris, artificial, which we also call as orbital debris. So orbital debris are largely or mainly from this part of defunct satellites. And even if we don't consider that, it is not saying that orbital debris are created only due to, it is not saying this part that only due to defunct satellites. It is just a general statement that orbital debris are formed due to defunct satellites and launch vehicles. So here the answer is option number B. Now if you look at this, it aims to protect 7 big cats, not 4 big cats. So first option is incorrect. 97 countries are members of this, that is also incorrect. Only 13 members are there. In fact, I have shown you a image in the last class. I told you also that Nepal is one such recent country which has become member of the IBCA, International Big Cat Alliance. Nepal has recently become the member of International Big Cat Alliance. So that's why the second option is also incorrect. The correct answer is option number D. That is neither 1 nor 2. So, few correct answers only. Only few correct answers. What happened to the Josh? Generally, it is asked, how is the Josh? But I see today that the Josh is on the lower side. No, comment is not visible today perhaps. Ranjit, you have given B answer of one question. Perhaps the comments are not visible today. There might be some issue with YouTube. Okay. There might be some issues with YouTube because I have seen only a few comments. So there might be having some issues with YouTube. PDF nahi mila hai. Okay, I will ask the team to send it again. Okay. Now, coming to today's article. Coming to today's topic. There are two parts of it. There are two arguments in this section. How is the Viksit Bharat? How is the Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Gramin VVG Ramji Act better than the MG Narega Act? So there are two aspects of it. How it is better plus what is the challenge. Okay. So this is one part. Let's see this one by one. First of all, the argument that how it is better. So it has been said that now we are providing 100 to 125 days of employment. Okay. 125 days of employment per household. Per household. So it has been said that expanded employment guarantee. There is expanded employment guarantee that now we are providing 125 days of employment instead of 100 days. Second thing is, there is one thing that there will be removal of procedural hurdles. There is going to be removal of procedural hurdles. That under the MG Narega, red tapeism was quite high. Red tapeism, procedural delays, they were quite high. And it has been promised that under the VVG Ramji Act, there will be a better coordination, there will be lesser procedural delays. It has also been said that there is going to be better planning of employment. Means peak season versus lean season. Peak season versus lean season. The government has been saying this, that under this MG Narega, which used to run for the entire year, there was a problem. The problem was that there were many works during the peak season, but during the lean season, the availability of work was low. So on one hand, there was a crisis of labor, and at the same time, in the same year, there could have been a proper phase, there could have been a time period when no work was available under the MG Narega. Okay. So what we see here, in the case of MG Narega, there was this problem of management, that when the work will be provided, when it will not be provided. There was a problem with that. Now in the case of VVG Ramji bill, it has been said that now during the peak agricultural season, there will be a halt on employment, and in the lean season they will be providing the employment to the laborers. Then there is also one thing, the asset creation, the quality of asset quality improvement. it has been said by government, it has been said by government that under the MG Narega, the quality of assets were not good. It was said by the government that the quality of assets under the MG Narega was not good. Now, there is a serious question. From the last 10 years, if the quality of the assets created under MG Narega was not good, why was the government spending the money on something which was not good for the country? So there is a serious question here, that why the government has been spending money on MG Narega when the quality of assets were not quite good. So this is also one of the question. Now we see that it has been said that more fiscal commitments from union, that there will be higher fiscal commitment from union, that more and more fund will be allocated under the VBG Ramji. There will be use of technology, and this is something which is going to promote, transparency, that it is going to promote the transparency of decentralization, that all the powers will not be given to the state governments or the local levels. There will be some balance which will be ensured by the union government. That union government is not going for centralization, rather than that they are going for balancing the decentralization process under this MG Narega. Okay. So this is one part which we see here. Now that is one side of the story. There is another side of the story, that what is the challenge for the VBG Ramji? What is the challenge with the VBG Ramji? So let us see that part also. That what is the challenge with the bill, the act now. Okay. Now, first thing is different rollout times and at the same time may not be implemented by all states. Now this is a centrally sponsored scheme. Remember this one thing, this is a centrally sponsored scheme. The states are free to choose it or to simply say that no, we don't want your scheme. So many states may have their own version of the scheme. Some of the states may say that they are not ready to accept this one new initiative, or maybe they would be doing the delay in the implementation of VBG Ramji. So one of the toughest challenge which might be expected in the rollout of VBG Ramji is its implementation across the country. Second thing which we also see, that like now there is a top down approach in budgeting. Top down approach in budget allocation. If you all have read governance, one of the basic things which is being suggested in all the theories of governance is that we have to go through a bottom up approach, not a top down approach. In governance, wherever you have read, you may have seen this one thing, that we need to follow a bottom up approach rather than top down approach. There has been criticism of some of the policies of the government of 1950s and 60s on this basis itself, that government used to adopt a top down approach. In the early phases of independence, there was a top down approach which was criticized by many of the experts. From there onwards, generally there is an understanding that we need to go for bottom up approach instead of top down approach. But here the VBG Ramji bill act now, it says that we are going to follow a top down approach, and this is better. Okay. we are going to follow a top down approach, and this is better also. Okay, so it is like saying that suppose I tell you one thing, that you don't have to read current affairs. You don't have to read current affairs. Just do one thing. Take any annual magazine and read the one liner. That will be better. So earlier people used to adopt this one approach, that they were reading this one liner magazine for UPSC also, and then they thought that UPSC will be asking questions from there. But after 2012-13, UPSC changed its approach with respect to current affairs. Now if I suggest you that you have to read that yearly magazine, that who was appointed, who got the prize, and you will get questions from there, that will be wrong. Okay, so in same manner we are seeing here that there is a top down approach, and it has been said that it is the better option. Then we see that there is third part. Okay, there is this one thing like this halt on the work. Okay, halt on the work. Now the thing is, not the uniform season of cropping across the nation. Like, we are not having the same season of agriculture in all the states, in all the regions throughout the year. Like, suppose that when we are talking about India, just look at this. Kerala is receiving the monsoon in the first part of June, first half of the June, or early June, or last of May. There are certain areas which will be receiving the monsoon from 15th of June. There will be some areas which will be getting it in the 1st of July. So from Kerala to Himachal, the monsoon is going to vary. The monsoon is going to vary in this term, that there will be different cropping season of the crops in different part of the country. It is one of the misconception that India is having one type of agricultural profile, one type of agricultural season. India is not having one type of agricultural season. It has multiple such seasons across the country. The timeline is not uniform. The timeline of agriculture in India is not uniform across the states. So we cannot have a single halt time for MG Narega. So how this will be decided, who will be deciding this, remains one of the challenge. Okay, and then finally what we see, there is a very important part which has been highlighted. In major government welfare schemes, the administrative expenditure is generally 2 to 3%. In normal any of the government schemes, the administrative expenditure is generally 2 to 3%. But in this scheme of VBG Ramji Act, the administrative expenditure is 9%. In MG Narega, it was 6%. In other, it is generally 2.5%. So the budget which is going to be allocated under the VBG Ramji, around 9% of that budget will be spent on administrative expenses. So generally we see that when we are adopting technology, there is higher efficiency. Whenever we are adopting technology, it is believed that there will be higher efficiency, cost will be reduced. But in this case, it is opposite. In this case, it is opposite. So we should have got lesser expenditure than MG Narega, but what we see that it has in fact increased. Near about 10% of the fund will be just for the administrative expenditure. So this is one of the challenging part of the VBG Ramji Act of 2025. I hope that's clear. You may have got some new points, that agricultural season is not the same throughout the country. Second thing is the administrative expenses. I think most of you may have seen about this, that state governments are having to pay more State governments have lost their autonomy. That is one part of a story which we have seen multiple times. But there are some other angles of VBG Ramji which you can also include as part of your notes. Okay. So that is the first article. Okay. I hope it's clear. Any doubt? Now, coming to the second part. Now here there is this one thing. If you are going to market, to purchase something, so who will be deciding the price? Tell me one thing. If you are going to purchase something from the market, who is determining the price? Burden on a state is also a challenge. Yes, burden on a state is also a challenge. There is also this one part that it is going against the concept of like cooperative federalism. It is going against the concept of decentralization. It is against decentralization. It is against the federal principles. So who determines the price? Normally we see that the manufacturer or seller has an upper edge in deciding the prices. If you are going to the market, the person who is selling the product, they have a considerable say in deciding the prices. For example, you all may be having a monthly recharge of your mobile phones. So do you have any say? You all may be having a monthly recharge of your data pack or your mobile packs. So are you having any such opinion in that case? Are you having any such opinion? If you are talking about demand and supply, so tell me, are you having any opinion or any say in deciding the prices of the mobile bills which you are paying on monthly basis? In the last 1 to 2 years, it has increased almost by 2 times. It has increased almost by 2 times. From the time of marriage to the present times. Like there was a grand marriage, and in that grand marriage, the prices were revised for telecom bills, and after that, it has been continuously increasing. So we are having higher monthly bills of mobile phones also. Now the thing is, who decides this? It is largely done by the seller, the service provider. But here there is a change. In the case of oil market, there is 2 groups, OPEC and OPEC plus. Here you will find that OPEC is 12 and here OPEC plus 10, means in total 22 countries. They are responsible for majority of oil production. So these countries, they used to determine the price. And supply. They used to determine price and supply. Okay. They used to determine the price and supply of the oil. Okay. But now something had changed. There is one country called China. This is the major importer of oil. So it is the major importer of the oil. In fact, it is the largest importer of the oil in the entire world. It is the largest importer of the oil in the entire world, largest consumer. So now China has said that China will decide the prices of the oil. And in 2025, in 2025, what we see that in 2025 the oil prices, this is something which is largely determined by China. So the oil prices in 2025 has been largely determined by China. China has created a very strong grip over the OPEC and OPEC plus countries. China has made this clear. If you are selling the oil in the price which I want, then it's fine. Otherwise, I will make so much variation that I am going to create so much variation in the oil import that you will bleed out. Let me give an example how China manipulates. How China is manipulating. Okay. Let's say in the month of June 2025, China says that they require, let's say, 1000 barrel. Let's say in the month of June 2025, China says that they require 1000 barrel of the oil. So generally it will be a belief, it will be a like idea that in the month of July also, let's say in the month of May and June, China has said that they are going to need 1000 barrel. So they got the supply of 1000 barrel. In July they said that I need only 400 barrel. In July 2025, China says we need only 400 barrel. We don't need your oil. So now you can understand that how much difference it is going to create. How much difference it is going to create for the OPEC nations. How much difference it is going to create for OPEC nations. And China is importing huge amount of oil. So when China is not importing the oil, they might have already extracted the oil and now they have nowhere to go. They have to sell it at lower prices. They have to sell it at lower prices. So now China is saying them, either agree to my term or I will make these fluctuations so much large that you will have entire oil going to waste. You will automatically start reducing the prices. So that is the power of China in case of oil market now. That it is the consumer. It is the consumer and still it is able to decide the prices of oil by challenging all the OPEC plus countries. It means 22 countries of the world together. That includes Russia. That includes Russia. Okay. So when we talk about the OPEC nations, who all countries are there? In the OPEC countries, we have 12 nations. We have 12 countries here. Remove Angola. Angola is not a member now. We have Saudi Arabia, Iran, Kuwait, UAE, Iraq. Then we have Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Congo, Venezuela, Libya, Algeria, Nigeria. So these are the 12 nations which are part of the OPEC. And when we talk about the OPEC plus, then we have Russia, Mexico, Kazakhstan, Oman, Azerbaijan, Malaysia, Bahrain, South Sudan, Brunei and Sudan. Okay. So in total you will find that there are 10 countries in here, 12 countries in here. So in total 22 nations combined together. They are no longer determining the oil prices alone. Now they have to agree to what China says. Okay. So this is like one part where China has shown the world that how it can have a control. When it is the exporter, of course it is having the control. When it is the exporter, it is having the control. And even in a situation where it is the importer of the oil, in that case also it is having the control. So China is determining its export also. China is determining its import also. So China is like the top player in the present times. Okay. Now coming to the third part. Coming to this third part, the heaviest launch by ISRO. Okay. So today in the morning at around 9 a.m. in the morning at 9 a.m. like we see that there was another launch from LVM 3 rocket. This LVM 3 rocket has launched one such satellite. Okay, it has launched Bluebird Block 2 communication satellite. This has been launched in low Earth orbit, and the weight, this is the most significant part, the weight of this satellite, the weight of this satellite is like the weight of this satellite is 6100 kg. Okay, this is one 6100 kg satellite, 6100 kg satellite. So in the morning today at around 9 a.m. ISRO had successfully launched the Bluebird Block 2 satellite. This is a company of United States. This is providing communication via the satellites in low Earth orbit. Okay, it will provide direct to mobile connectivity, same as Starlink and others. It will provide direct to mobile connectivity. This is going to provide direct to mobile connectivity. It has been launched by ISRO. This is a satellite which has a weight of 6100 kg. It has been placed in a low Earth orbit of around 500 kilometer. Okay, so this one satellite was launched in the morning today itself. Now, when we talk about the launch vehicle LVM, it is having three stage. First stage, if we talk about this, two solid strap-on motors, solid strap-on motors. This is the first stage. So if you have gone through the launch in today's like part itself, if you have gone through the launch today, if you have seen the live streaming of that, you may have seen it that first there was ignition in the solid motors, in the solid engines. Then second part is the liquid engine. This is the second stage. And the third part is the cryogenic engine, C25. Cryogenic engine. So it is called as C25. Okay. So we have the strap-on motors, two solid motors. Okay. And then we have the liquid motor, and then we have the cryo. In the cryo, we have liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. So three stage engine are there. Now when we talk about the capacity, what is the capacity of this LVM as of now? Okay, can you tell me what is the capacity right now? Okay, now you can see officially if we look at this, now it says that it has a capacity of 4200 kg to GTO, 4200 kg to geo transfer orbit. Okay, and in the case of low Earth orbit, the capacity is up to 10,000 kg. In the case of geo transfer orbit, it is 4200 kg officially. Earlier we would have written 4000 kg, but now it has been said that the LVM3 launch vehicle Mark 3 has a capacity of 4200 kg to the geo transfer orbit, and at the same time for the low Earth orbit the capacity is up to 10,000 kg. Okay, this satellite is not just for Indian people use. It will take huge amount of time before it starts giving the services. This is not an Indian satellite. Remember one part, this is not an Indian satellite. This is a satellite of a US based private company. So it is not free. First of all, it is not free. You may have seen that it will provide direct to mobile connectivity. it will be quite much useful in the remote areas, in the hilly areas. Direct to mobile, direct internet connectivity will be there. But remember this part, it is not a public satellite. It is not an Indian government satellite. This is a satellite of a private company of United States. So it will not be providing free services. Okay. And plus it needs to make a constellation of these satellites in order to enable this. Okay. So that is the part. The satellite is not that much important for us. The satellite is not that much important for us. The one thing which we have to keep in mind, that we have now the capacity to launch heavy satellites in the space. That is one thing which we have to keep in mind. Okay. Now, coming to the next major article for today, and that is related to the Aravalli. Now, we can see that throughout Jaipur, throughout Rajasthan, we see that there has been massive protest. हाँ, इंडिया में सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर सकती है. इट्स नॉट दैट इट विल नॉट बी प्रोवाइडिंग सर्विसेज, बट इट विल नॉट बी फ्री. Like if you look at the Starlink is a US project, but it is not providing connectivity only in US. It is providing connectivity wherever the consumers are. So now all the companies of the world, they can provide services anywhere. But there is one simple thing, it will not be free. Okay. So now coming to this part of Aravalli. Okay. So see, there are different angles of it. First part, October 13, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change proposed a new 100-meter definition for Aravallis to the Supreme Court. On October 13, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they have given a proposal to the Supreme Court that the definition of Aravalli will be on the basis of 100 meter. That if there is a hill of the size of 100 meter, then it will be considered as a hill, otherwise it will not be considered. So that is one part. Second thing, on November 20, the Supreme Court accepted the 100-meter recommendation of the ministry. So that is one side of the story. The one side of the story is that this definition has been accepted. Okay. First part. Second thing here itself, there is a organization called as the Central Empowered Committee. Okay. There is a Central Empowered Committee. This is a body which was set up by the Supreme Court. Look at this one very important part. There is a special body called as Central Empowered Committee. This one body has been set up by the Supreme Court in 2002. And what was the aim of this? The aim was quite simple, to monitor and ensure compliance of its order related to environment and forest. Okay. So this committee was especially to see this one part, that if Supreme Court had said something about environment or forest, is it being implemented in the country or not? With respect to the matters on environment or forest or anything like that, this is the advisory body. You can understand this one part. It is the advisory body of the Supreme Court on this matter. Now this body, it has given this, it has written to the bench, means there is one person who is called as amicus curiae. Amicus curiae means friend of the court. Friend of court. It simply means any lawyer or expert who is assisting the Supreme Court bench. Okay. So amicus curiae is basically the person or the legal expert or any type of expert who is just helping the bench. The bench means the Supreme Court. Okay. So the Central Empowered Committee has given this recommendation to the amicus curiae of Supreme Court that they did not examine or approve the recommendation of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. They have said that we have not approved this, we have not given approval to the definition which has been given by the Environment Ministry. So they have not approved this definition. Okay. Now this is the second part of the story. Now coming to the third part. There is another organization in India, Forest Survey of India. There is another organization, Forest Survey of India. So it has mapped 40,481 square kilometer as Aravallis in 15 districts of Rajasthan as areas above the minimum elevation with a slope of at least 3 degrees. Means, as per the Forest Survey of India, there is this much of area which should come under Aravallis. There is this much of area which should come under Aravallis. Okay. So if we go by this definition, even the lower hills would be protected as Aravallis. Okay. So FSI, the Forest Survey of India, has already made a mapping of what should be called as Aravallis, what needs to be protected as Aravallis. The Forest Survey of India has also done this. Now, what is the impact? Let us see by this image. Let us see by this image. Just look at this one line. Here on this map, you can see this one line which I am highlighting in black color. This black one, it is suggested by Forest Survey of India. This is something which has been suggested by the Forest Survey of India. And this is what has been given by the government. Means you will find that a huge portion like this, look at this entire area. This entire area nearby areas, you can see. Now this entire area where I have shaded with red color, this portion is not going to be protected. Only the area which is within this red boundary, only this much area which is within the red boundary, government aims to protect only that part. Whereas the Forest Survey of India has given this one thing, that there should be protection of this entire area which is encircled by this black border. So that is the border suggested in the black color. That is one thing which has been suggested by the Forest Survey of India. And the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, the suggestion which it has provided is conserving only this much of area. It will be considering only this much area as as hills. The remaining area will not be considered as hills. Okay. So this is one part. Now of course Aravallis, if they are not there, so then there will be numerous impact. So today we have seen this one part, that what exactly is in the coverage of Aravallis. What exactly is in the coverage of Aravallis? In the next session, when we will meet post Christmas, after Christmas, when we will have a session, then we will talk about this one part again, that what is the significance of Aravallis. In one of the previous sessions, we have talked about the geographical aspects of Aravallis. We have seen it is a fold mountain. It is a mountain which has been created around 2 billion years ago. Around 2 billion years ago. And at the same time, we have seen about other parts of it. So this is our second session with respect to Aravallis. In this session, we have seen the legal aspects of it, that what has been said by ministry, what has been said by Central Empowered Committee, what has been done by Supreme Court, and what has been suggested by the Forest Survey of India. In the next part, in the next session, when we will meet after Christmas, we will see that what will be the implications if Aravallis are not there. Okay. So tomorrow you have to celebrate Christmas. Okay. So we will meet post Christmas, and then from the June of high AIQ, AQI, we will be conducting the sessions. Okay. So after this, we will be conducting the sessions after Christmas. Okay. So then I will be starting the classes from Delhi now. So many of the things which I have planned will be done then. Like I have to take one session of this part of COP 30. I will give you one special video on COP 30 also. In one of the session, probably on Saturday, we will try to have a session on essay also. Okay. So that will be all. Okay. कल का notification आया है नहीं, but tomorrow there is no such class. Okay. After Christmas we will have the class. So probably on Saturday we will have one special session. Okay. And then we will meet. So Merry Christmas everyone. Merry Christmas everyone, and enjoy. Okay. So all the best. Thank you. Take care.